well, I have work that I do other than this, but I also had to hope that we get Wi-Fi in this location where we are. Yeah, I see people beating up on everybody should come out and open. That should not require talk, no? Let me tell you something. We've let ourselves be browbeaten into situations where we're not even sure if this is a democracy. I need to see the video shared. I need us to cross that 1,000 number so that we know that it's working and so that we could get right down into it, seamless. And as usual, anytime I get a new car, I had to take it out and test it. So we was testing that skyline. Yeah. So we had 662. It bubbling. So let me do my sharing on the WhatsApp thread. Yeah. I want to ask you all a question, but every time I ask a question, I get 100 million answers for the duration of the show. Even people who come in new live just want to give me the answer to the question. So I can't do that right now. Today, boy, let me tell you, the reason that we can't fix this country, we're at 793 and stalled. We had to cross that 1,000. I had to cancel this video and relocate. So you had to tell 823 and climbing. All right. And that's without the WhatsApp crew. So let me send out the WhatsApp crew to see what that does there. It's climbing. It's climbing. We're coming. Last night, we had Stefan Rees as an unscheduled guest, and it was very nice. Tonight, we have Inshan Ishmael as a scheduled guest, and I expect it to be just as nice. Tomorrow, Monday night, we're supposed to be talking to Ian Allen, so I will confirm that with you tomorrow during the day. But if we have Ian Allen as a guest, whole week we will be bringing on members of the Candlelight movement and people who were part of the rebuilding of the change that is coming, and to let you see them, because I know that we're at 9:57. I know that a lot of you have become jaded and worried and anxious. I want to tell you, like the Bible says, be not afraid. Be not afraid. When I see the PNM attacking me, people messaging me from all sides, where they live, so I give them a response. And I guess that is my fault for being late. We crossed the 1,000. Let's see how much further we get in. Who is the owner? Who is the owner of PEA 9684? I'd like to talk to that person. I'd like to interview that person. The owner of PEA 9864. The car that the PNM is saying is mine. I'd like to know. Watch me. You see you see some of these messages I get here, boy, you always wait till last minute to reach out, and when it's a crisis and your house on fire, I'm not the fireman. But I want to get into this thing. I'm just responding. All right, somebody contacted me about the car. So I want to find out. Somebody just told me the son of R and J. I don't know who R and J is. Don't be cryptic. Telling. The owner messaged me. All right. R and J Cellular. Let me see if the owner will join us in the conversation. I want to tell her, you don't have to give your name. She panicking. The owner, but you see, well, you gotta give me a minute. I'm actually talking to the person on WhatsApp and I'm trying to get them to come on the live and clear this up. But I don't mind, you know. Okay, so I call any person. Hello. PEA 9864 is yours. Right. Oh, you hear what? Okay, but I need to say this, right? Nobody know who I am talking to. But right now, not at all. Not at all. But you know that right now I am live. So let me talk to him. He is the owner of the car or you are the owner of the car? Who's the owner of the car? Oh, you're going, my friend? I see your car starting. Listen, bring my car for me, please. What are you doing with my car? You gotta come and drop my car. Boy, if we take that picture with me in that car, we gonna break the internet. I'm telling you. That's who, I doubt is Devont. I don't think that is who behind. I'm gonna put out a call tonight on my live. Right now we have 1,400 people watching. So hear what? I'm gonna put out a call tonight for everybody. I have 100,000 followers. I want to know who are the people behind that page UNC Cabal. I'm going at them. I'm going at them hard. But I want to ask you to just be courageous and just talk your mind. I mean, you're laughing about it and you're joking about it. Just let the people know. It's up to you. Eh? I mean, you don't have to. I ain't bullying you. And I'm encouraging you, though, because you could let them hear that the person exists. So it's not no hide and seek game. We could expose them quick. You know? Nah, don't sue them. Don't sue them. You don't have to sue nobody. We can let it pass. But I want to find out who it is. But anyway, it's a good way to meet you. So I asking you. So wait. So they're giving me your identity, your car, your boat, everything. Drop my keys for me, please, sir. Thank you. My brother, I ain't going to call your name, but I want to tell you this. You send me a WhatsApp. Who's that laughing in the background there? Sister? Alright, so nobody's, you must be having kicks, but hear me. Send me a WhatsApp with your information. The people who spreading it is people like Rhoda Barrett and them. Rhoda Barrett don't even have an ox cart or a donkey cart. So when she see a fancy car like that, she must get all under her arms must be get wet. You're not frightened them. She wanna sit down in that bad boy. Cause all them PNM people who paying she the little bit of scujo money she getting from NLCB, they ain't picking she up in the car. They ain't what she saying down in the car. Jealousy that's hot, you know. Jealousy, that kind of envy that's hot. But watch me, 1,500 people watching, you know. Just say a few words to the country now. They wanna hear. Yeah? Alright, well I will shield you. Thank you for reaching out. Tell your sister thanks for reaching out. Send me a WhatsApp though, right? In case I need any further information from you. But I will shield you from this. This is just, I laughing at this is kicks. PNM, and if this is the breakaway faction inside the UNC, I'll find out tonight and I will let you know who this is and we will make a decision if they have any action to take, all right? Have a good night. Well, yeah, WhatsApp me, right? All right, okay, bye. And that's quick time. That's quick time. So, somebody reaching out to me, it's an emergency. And I have Inshan waiting. I was going and laugh and joke and tell all I was outside there testing my new Skyline. But the person called. I didn't have my cup where I am. Excuse me as I'm drinking my water here. I see they attacking my boy Stephen Hadid. I see the PNM attacking my boy Stephen Hadid for saying plenty people trying to give me this man number. Okay, so where Show Restaurant closed down. Show Restaurant is one of the biggest casualties of Keith Rowley's bullshit. So let me tell you why all of this happening, right? Let me tell you why all of this happening. Because your boy get bigger than the whole opposition. Your boy, also known as me, have the largest voice in the politics now. And I'm panicking them. I tell you why I'm panicking them. I'm not sharing flowers. I'm not sharing pictures of me swimming in the ocean. When I do a live video, it goes out. It goes out by the hundreds of thousands. Today, I did 2 videos. Yesterday, I did 1. Between the 3, they are now at 500,000 views. That's a lot. That's a lot. And those of you who have seen them videos yet, go on Facebook, type up Philip Edward Alexander. That's the name of the page. When you get on the page, a fan page is not a profile. If you bounce up anything else, ignore it. There is a fan page. You will tell that you're in the right place. It has about 65,000 likes, 100,000 followers. You'll know you're in the right place. Click on that page and go and scroll. You will see today's 2 videos and yesterday's video. Now, I want to say this. It's not my intention to shed any light on the hard-working people of any of those ministries. And I need to say this. I need to say this, right? The people who work in those ministries are good and decent people. The police officers in the traffic branch, the highway branch, any police station, when you see I highlighting government squandermania, police don't make them decisions. Ministerial staff don't make them decisions. I'll tell you this, right? Give me a second. This is rude now, but I have somebody who's messaging me whose father had a stroke. So I don't think he understands, or she, I don't even know if it's a man or woman. Hello, good night. I see you're typing and you're messaging me, right? But I want you to understand, I am live right now. What it is exactly you need? What exactly do you need? Tell me. Financial assistance? What kind of assistance? Okay, like what? Where is he now? You don't have to give your name. You want to have the conversation live, everybody here? Stand by. All right, you're live now.
Okay. At the middle of June, my dad had suffered a stroke, right, which affected the right side of his brain, and it left him semi-paralyzed on his left side of his body, right? He was in my care, his next of kin, and he was in Mount when he came out. When he came out, a couple days
you gotta speak up for me. Speak up for me.
When he came out, a couple days after, my aunt and they came with police. Who my son took him. They made a report that I ill-treated my dad and I abused him, which was a lie. They took him from my care. When I tried to go for him last week, Tuesday, the police from Rio Claro Station went with me. When they went, my aunt said she only wants 1 officer inside her house. And when he went in, he stayed about 20 minutes before he called me to come inside. Wish they had paid him off because I know how my aunt and then is operating.
All right, no. Just now, you can't make statements like that. I want to ask you a question. You are the legal next of kin of your father.
Yes, I am.
So why aren't you talking to a lawyer to write a letter to the police station to get him to go and take your father?
I didn't know I could do that.
You could. That's why I asked you the word. Don't listen.
They said that I have to go through it because he's not in his right frame of mind. They said that I have to go through something called a mental health act.
That's not true. That's not true. If the court could say, if any legal authority could say,
I have the medical report where I got from the hospital he was in that says where he had the stroke and it interfered with the brain and stuff.
Oh, you gotta listen to me a little bit though. All right, the documentation that you have, you need a lawyer. Okay, I saying that to you. You need a lawyer, and send me after on this WhatsApp. I will send you the name of a lawyer that I'm gonna try and get to see if they will write you the first letter for free. They ain't gonna do the whole case for free, but they might write the first letter for free. Okay. So when I finish this live, but you have strong legal grounds, so you don't have to worry about that. Who paying off and who buying off. You'll go with proper police and you'll take him out and you'll take him home, all right? And then you'll get a restraining order against your family. Cool? We'll talk after.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, bye. Okay, my country, my countrymen and women, I have so many. You see, I can't be rude. I can't ignore people. They're seeing me, they're seeing that I'm alive, and they're just desperate for help, and they're dealing with life and death situations. Anyway, look, there are a lot of things that have to be discussed, but the most important one of it is this. The entirety of Trinidad and Tobago has moved away from red and yellow. There are a couple sycophants and a couple people who benefit who have a HDC house to defend or a CPEP walk to defend, and I feel for them because they hand in the lion mouth, they trapped politically, and I get that. I want to say to those people, and I want you to hear me say this. Nobody who changes allegiance and supports us could risk political victimization. All right? I want you to hear that. And if we get into office, we will safeguard all the people of this country. Our job is to make sure that everybody goes forward. Not to move like how red and yellow does move and distress people. Putting 1.4 million people to work is a very easy proposition. But we live in a country where the government is either A, criminally incompetent, or B, and the PNM have said that about themselves for all of their lives and all of their years. Anyway, all of those missed calls, we can't take them right now because we are going to be dialing Inshan Ishmael. I have two numbers for Inshan. No, I have one number. I have one number. So I'm calling that number. And I hope Inshan remember that he was expecting me tonight. Damn it.
Hello?
Good evening. I'm trying to reach Inshan Ishmael.
Yes.
Is this Inshan speaking?
Yes.
Did I catch you at the wrong time?
No, you have not, sir.
Good night, sir.
Mr. Alexander, what happens? I can get a little confused or what's up then?
I want to make an appointment to bring my new orange Skyline to service by you.
Yes. What happens is that
I know you're the man. I know you're the man that is dealing with them big shot fancy cars. You will explain to me how it does work. Even though the real owner called me tonight and introduced himself, I'm gonna try and see what we can do.
Well, what happens is that those cars, the only problem that we have seen thus far is the boom shang valve. That is the only problem. That is the only problem. But other than that, you're good to go. That a basic service is just about $12,000, nothing much.
No. Boss, let me tell you, they throw me off with that. They come good. And you know why they come good? Because they want to make it look like all of we in the same bacchanal with them. You know, and that is the intention. So they try to muddy the water a little bit. What was funny to watch though, and I take pride in the Trinbagonians who went to them and tell them, oh gosh, you're tired with the same old style. So we could push that aside. Partner, plenty thing going on. You have a strong voice in everything. I don't know what to ask you about first. I see you inviting foreigners to come and visit our world-renowned laundromats.
Yes. What happened is that, in fact, Trinidad, and let me tell you something. I wonder if you picked up on the same thing that I picked up. Because what happened is that, isn't it in Trinidad, isn't it strange that in Trinidad and Tobago, one of the sectors that is considered to be the most corrupt is the construction industry, especially where Chinese contractors, especially worldwide with bid rigging and all that drama. But what is interesting, when you tie the two together, the laundromats and construction, I mean, really and truly, what they're trying to say is that the opening the laundromats to launder money, I don't know. But the fact is that where else could you have such a combination? Nowhere else in the world.
I couldn't find a laundromat now if I wanted to. I don't know where there are laundromats in Trinidad. I didn't know we had laundromats.
But let me tell you something. The brand of my laundromat, the brand is Marilyn. That is my wife.
I'm not going down that road with you, you know. If I hear pot and pans that are pelt, I don't want to be in the line of fire.
Better man, I will tell you something. You see my wife, nobody could fold, nobody could steam, nobody could press like my wife. So therefore, at the end of the day...
Ma'am, if you're watching the live, I am apologizing. I am not leading him down this road. Carry on.
No, but the reality of it is that, I mean, sometimes you really have to wonder if this place is a big joke, you know, because recently, you know, when I saw that the Prime Minister stated that they are going to deny the TTPS $22 million because the TTPS, you know, they don't deserve SUVs. Does this man realize that sometimes these fellas will be toting some big gun, and if you put them in small car, the gun will go through the roof? This man ever see the size of some of these officers and them, and you put them in some cars, brother man, and without mentioning names, you know why a lot of those vehicles and them started to get trouble, Philip? A lot of those vehicles started to get trouble. Let me tell you why. And I wouldn't say who responsible, because you and I, we fed up get so. So the reality of it is that you see certain car dealers were owed money where repairs and things were concerned. And what happened is that a directive was given to purchase vehicles from certain car dealers. Even though these cars, they were told would not stand up, they decided that they would still purchase those vehicles, and we are where we are today. You have one police vehicle where the bonnet costing you $11,000, a headlight is $7,000. Brand new regular vehicles, which we told them were not going to work. You know, at the end of the day, and I don't blame the commissioner, because the commissioner was the one
he's
trying to clean up the whole thing.
No, but Inshan, and people just talk about, oh, police is bounce the can thing. But in all honesty, a car chase is not a easily orchestrated thing. It's a violent and a wild thing, and the car's going to get abused. If any division of the state you're going to have to understand, if the vehicles get licked up, is the police service.
Yeah, but the thing is that, I mean, when you look, I mean, because vehicles is my thing. I was one of those persons who drew the regulations for Trinidad and Tobago with the foreign news industry. And I can tell you, when I look at so many things, I mean, I laugh, because at the end of the day, the reason why the police cannot sell some of those vehicles, and I'm right now, it is because of red tape. You think the commissioner, you think the seniors don't want to get rid of those vehicles, and that they have park up all over the place, that people taking and putting all kind of number plate on? Of course they want to get rid of it, but because you have to go through a long, drawn-out process just to sell the vehicles, by the time you're ready to sell it, them Kobo and them flying overhead and thieving engine and, you know,
but isn't the parliament where the rules are made? Can't we just make rules that make it possible that the asset be valued from the police service and transferred to I don't mean a transfer like go down to a licensing office, but I mean transferred in a block of vehicles. We've given you vehicles that have been valued at $65 million so that you will be responsible for auctioning them. Why they don't do a collective from all the organizations so that it could be transparent? Why they don't think about something like that?
Yeah, but that is like asking why it is we don't have links and visa in licensing office right now.
They still don't have that?
Here, 90% of the days is cash. 90%. One is that, remember, we have a problem. Telephone line in Canada, when rainfall, everything that started fall long, And this is the problem that we're in. I want you to go back into the archives, Philip, and you will see, search Inshan Ishmael and RF number plates, and you will see the AG recently spoke about using radio frequency number plates for P and H vehicles. I spoke about that 10, 15 years ago. Many people don't even know this. Under Philbert, one of the former police commissioners, I trained members of CID with stolen vehicles and all that drama. And people don't know the history that I have, especially where vehicles is concerned. As I said before, we want to get rid of crime. Imagine about 6 years ago, I had a meeting with Paula Gopiskun, and all this is factual information. This is not no hearsay. And during that meeting, I played 2 audio clips. And the 2 audio clips that I played were 2 skullmen who does top chassis and does all that thing, and they call people name and license office who they just deal with. And I forwarded that to the minister and to her team, and she promised to deal with that immediately. That was 6 years ago, Philip. The biggest problem that we have in this country right now is criminals do not take a bicycle in most cases to go after criminals. I've said it before and I'll say it again. And you may not know this. Do you know that there are 10,000 body shells that come into this country every single year? You know what the body shell is, right?
That's parts.
Right. What happens that the law clearly states that you cannot sell a vehicle, the vehicle is over a certain age. Now, Philip could go on Japan website and buy an X-Trail at 2005 or 2006 for $1,000 US. This is to tell you how cheap it is. At $1,000 US for a 10, 15-year-old vehicle. When you bring that in the country, you bring it without the engine, without the transmission, without the suspension. That vehicle is mounted up back the same evening, and somebody put that vehicle up for sale for $40,000, $50,000, or they put it for sale for less. For example, if they have Almira or something, they'll sell for $15,000, $20,000. Any piper, any criminal going and buy that vehicle and slap in a number plate. We have seen vehicles with box.
So how they getting number plates? I mean, they're not getting legal number plates.
No, of course not. That's what I'm saying. What they do, the other day we found a vehicle with an ambulance number plate, and then a next one with a bus number plate. But what they ended up doing is that instead of using the H, they put a P. If I ask Philip tonight, Philip, tell me name one bus number plate.
Name one what?
You can name any of the PTSC bus number plate right now?
No.
You can name any motorcycle number plate?
No.
Good. So, and these things passing up and down the road, and you don't know who is what. And I've said it time and time again, but the problem is, you see, in Trinidad and Tobago, the law is on the side of the criminals.
Okay, but when a vehicle stop in a roadblock, right? And you hand the police officer your license and the insurance. They check the insurance against the number plate. Is the insurance company that issuing those insurance, is that legit insurance? Can you still go and buy bounce and lose insurance for $300 for the year?
Let me tell you something. You have everybody in this whole thing. You have doctors who give it medical certificate over the phone. So getting an insurance is nothing. And the thing is that, you see, the problem is that, this is what I keep saying, in Trinidad and Tobago, we modernize license office, but we have not modernized the people. You have a problem where this thing has been in existence for donkey years. If you talk to anybody, the most corrupt institution in Trinidad and Tobago is licensing office. In licensing office, you don't even have to go. But look the other day was a police lineman. They pull over a man for driving on the shoulder. Not word of English. One word of English the man could talk. And he pulled out a driver's permit. How he get a driver's permit? So you see, we continue, like I said before, be quick to say this and that, and this is why I contacted the commissioner there, and I told him, big man, you better stay where you are. Because
Yeah, boy.
you're the first man. You see that big lineman who broke one, and man get charged. You see certain places get searched. That never happened before. But what is happening is that there are those people who have a problem and don't want the commissioner there because they get in touch, and you know what I'm talking about.
Because he is not a man that they could manipulate and bribe, and I understand that. So I say to you, When will we know if he is reappointed?
Well, one is that it depends on, remember there are people, bigger forces than us, you know.
When do they make the announcement though?
Well, one is that I suspect sometime in August, because they will wait for last minute to go and make the announcement. That is what I suspect. But at the end of the day, we have so much more things to worry about in this country. I mean, when you...
I know, but Gary being there gives a lot of people, law-abiding people, and people who have anxiety and fear for how the country is run, Gary being there gives people a little bit of peace of mind.
Yeah, but the problem lies is that the system still stinks. The fact is that you have people who are there right now, and this is not the commissioner's fault. You have people who went into the police service to work for the bandits. And those fellas, and every day, Philip, you see it.
But Inshan, you saying that I watching there are lawyers in this country, partner, that seem to have a vested interest in the performance of criminals.
Big man, when I see them figures in them, I pull up law books one time and I start reading one time.
Is $1 billion in legal fees for what? What have we as a nation gained from those legal fees? All of those questions passing through my mind. So much things going on at one time. But like you, and I'm sure I get as much as you, but people inundate me with information. Come and see this and come and see that and look what they're doing. And it's clear that nothing is working.
No, and that is correct. And that is correct. And I said it before. And you know, we continue to say it again. Look, for example, we saw something today with Stuart Young and the Mercedes-Benz and the $500,000 tax exemption. Now, I have spoken to someone at Mercedes in regards to a vehicle because my vehicles are over 10 years old and I am looking to change. So the fact is that when I spoke to them, you know what they told me? If we could get the US, they will bring it in. And this is a big company like Mercedes-Benz, right? And I can say this because the fact is that it is fact that they are not getting the US that they want to get. And you know, I want to segue a little bit because you're building up vehicles here.
You do your thing.
The fact is that, Philip, I introduced the foreign news market to try and the big one. That was close to 20-something years ago. And to me, what I'm seeing now is that for someone who has been in industry that long, have no record of any fraud, and when I look at my business now, outside in my yard, there's not one vehicle, because you know why? Inshan Ishmael getting $500 a month. Could you explain to me, and I said it before, how come it is these ministers and them buying vehicles, how come it is their dealers, the foreign news dealers that some of them buying from, where they getting the foreign exchange fees? Could you answer me where they getting it from?
But listen, I have asked that question of a minister who hired the chairman of WASA as his lawyer to sue me for asking him that question. As if we do not have a right to ask these questions. And they're picking and choosing who they're suing. Because they wouldn't sue MPs or people from the other side. It's like a conversation between them. They're playing a game with us. And if we put our mouths in it, they want to shut us down and shut us up. But the question has to be asked. In a country that has no foreign exchange, that every time I go to the bank and I ask them for foreign exchange, depending on the teller, she might chuckle. She might say, Mr. Alexander, you know that like good gold, we ain't seeing that again. Foreign exchange. Before, and I am a partner in the car industry, and he tell me, Philip, the bank managers done cut their deals already, and I don't want to say that every bank manager in this, but the country has no explanation. We have no idea what the plan is, how much foreign exchange comes in, and what is the plan? How do you get? What's the system? How do you get your name into the system, and how is it an equitable thing, or is it who you know?
And this is exactly it. I mean, if you go to the bank get 100,000 US, you cannot question the bank. If they give their friends or family 99,000 and the rest of people get a thousand, you cannot question that. But what we could do is that we could approach central bank and a complaint could be made in regards to the distribution of funds. Because the fact is that at the end of the day, we still live in a country where some of the laws are still functional, where the anti-discriminatory laws, etc. And the reality of it is that, for me, if Inshan Ishmael and Philip do something wrong financially, the FIU, this one coming down on
But of course, and I keep telling people that. I can't paint outside the lines, and I'm sure you're in the same position because you're going to get extra scrutiny. So you have to be above and beyond. But when I walk into stores and I see the shelves packed to capacity with imported goods, and those companies don't do any manufacture, they don't do any exports. So where's the US coming from to buy those goods?
And this is the question that no one is answering. The fact is that, and I've said it time and time again, the reality of it is that we have even been limited with our credit cards because of the abuse of credit cards. Our credit cards have gone down to 3,000 and 5,000, and this is where we have reached. But the fact is that apparently there are some people in this country who are untouchable, and they get whenever they want, however they want.
That is unacceptable now. That is unacceptable now. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, cannot continue to accept that politics allows certain people to manipulate the system to the disadvantage of everybody else. It is unacceptable.
Yeah, but I mean, how long are we to continue down this road? Because honestly, I have reached a position where you almost feel as if you're burnt out. Every single night, I tell you, 2 o'clock in the morning, I showed a text message, 2 o'clock one morning, somebody saying that they're hungry. I mean, our Prime Minister comes on TV and regurgitates the same thing over and over and over. And what we get in return is that the country is falling apart. It is falling apart every single day, and it's getting worse as we speak. In fact, I don't think this man seriously understands the severity where poverty is concerned.
No, I agree with you, and I think that a lot of hungry people are going to end up getting themselves in trouble trying to eat, and it shouldn't be that way. That should not be one of the options. The government's supposed to have a proper, by now, 18 months, 19 months into COVID-19. We know about this since January 2020. You're trying to tell me, barreling down on August 2021, we still don't have a system in place to make sure that the people of the country, those at the bottom rung of society, at least could have something to eat? We get them booklets. Now we're talking property tax. It's like the government is trying to send people off the edge.
Yeah, and that was something I highlighted earlier on. Imagine in the middle of this madness. I mean, I have no problem. Introduce the property tax. It's something that I have always said I don't have a problem with because I know how the economy works. But in the middle of a pandemic where every Tom, Dick, and Harry and their mother, because let me tell you something, even the mega conglomerates are balling right now.
But you see Show restaurant closed down?
What's that?
You see Khalid Mohammed Show restaurant closed down?
It closed down?
It closed down. He put out a thing. They have video on it now. He put out a release today saying the other smaller restaurants he will continue, but the main store, the main restaurant, Show, closed down. He said couldn't survive, couldn't make it. So he's not a small man. Look, Stephen Hardy put out a post today. He said, boy, police and them, he said, I've got closed. I opening. People, he said the bank calling me, the finance house calling me. People are getting squeezed. They are literally getting squeezed and they don't know what to do. And the problem is, for the majority of people, they all thinking that this is them. It's just only them. What Trinidadians is not realizing is all of us in this together and it's everybody getting squeezed. And it's only when the taxi drivers come out and make a stand, we see a change. And when the truckers come out and make a stand, we see a change. So is it that all of us have to stand together and stand up in the road for the government to see that we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we're not accepting this anymore?
No, but the thing is that I could tell you quite frankly that there are a lot of workers from KFC who know me personally, and they have contacted me, and when they look at the madness, you could go in Massey and line up to buy fried chicken. You could go in Price Mart, and before the pizza even hit the shelf, it's gone, and you could line up together. But could you imagine 8 people working in a KFC branch is a problem and compose COVID to get out of control? It makes no sense to me. I believe that somebody had promised Rowdy KFC and did not deliver it for the man, and the man have a, I don't know, maybe it is he hold that in mind and I did for the rest of my life that we have to suffer because of. The fact is that my concern is that there are many things going on right now which makes no sense. You tell me how the hell drive-through could be a problem now.
Or curbside. Drive-through or curbside. Come on. We was doing well. The spikes that took place in this country, okay, we know you left the border open, so some Venezuelans bring in some disease. You take 50,000 people to Tobago and you cause the spike. All right.
But what nonsense you talking about? You and I were responsible for the spike. Don't pass the blame on anybody. We were responsible.
That man, boy, you know, his tongue should have fallen out his mouth for calling Andrea name in his slackness. His tongue should have fallen out his mouth and beat up on the ground in that parliament. If I was God, I'd take away his tongue. Because you can't do that. You can't use that little girl. After you fail that little girl, after the country failed her, after she went through everything that she went through, you come in now to use that girl as a scapegoat, boy. These people have no shame, boy.
But you're asking answer. Are you asking answer? But the thing is that how many more videos are we going to do? How many more marches are we going to ask for? The fact is that the problem is a lot of people, when I look at the people defending this nonsense on both sides, because I said it before, what took place in Parliament recently, it is the UNC who actually designed it that way, so why it is they are complaining?
And Fuad Khan is the one that telling us, and he was a speaker, and he's telling us that is UNC changed the rules. And you had to be honest, and the supporters of every political organization in this country have to be citizens of Trinidad first. They have to be honest with themselves that it cannot be that this is what Parliament has been reduced to. You watching the trade of political, I mean, it's like schoolyard fight going on now. The UNC putting out releases. Rowley, of course, doesn't have any kind of decorum, and he should have never been allowed in a parliament at any point in time, drunk or sober. But the UNC now playing Trump and follow suit, because every release now talking about Rowley's outfit, and so they trade in jabs, and this one clothes rumful up, and that one right she released drunk. And what are the 1.4 million people who are paying all of these salaries, spending that $100 million a year for that? What are they to think as the country around them falls apart and foreign powers raiding the country now? What are the people to think?
But when at the barracks recently, members of the Chinese community was facilitated, many people did not see that and didn't understand that message. Imagine our own citizens were put out on the road in the rain, and you have people who are not even residents and citizens of this country being facilitated with first of world-class treatment. I mean, if people don't get a message from that, I don't think they will ever get a message. And I have always said, and I will continue to say, I have been a social activist since I was 18, 20 years. And the fact is that charity runs in my blood. And I will tell you something. I mean, one of the biggest accomplishments we did, there was a flood in Pakistan, and we raised $7 million in 21 days.
Wow.
$7 million. And the fact is that I have a history of assisting where my community is concerned. But the fact is that what kills me is that when I see people calling me every day, Inshan, I call my church, I call my temple, I call my mosque, but they have no hampers for me. But you want to give about 500 people money in this country who do little or nothing when it comes to helping the people and feeding the people in this country. All because, you know why? You have a problem because Inshan Ishmael, that opening mouth, and you have a problem with that. And that is why I always say, pettiness cannot done in this bloody country. The fact is that at the end of the day, it does not matter if I like you or if I don't like you. Right is right, wrong is wrong.
Brother, last night talking to Stefan, and I realized how much work he was doing with all the different charities he is a major part of. and knowing the work that we constantly do on my side, and then knowing that Candice Barrett, the PRO of the Candlelight Movement, they fed more homeless people in this country than any organization. They've been doing it every single night consecutively for I don't even know how much years now. Her and her husband, Paul Nahus, and Devish Maraj, her senior. And then I look at Avanel, Hector Joseph, and you. I tell Stefan, I say, but the Candlelight Movement, if you add up everything that we're doing as separate organizations that under one umbrella, we are the biggest charity in the country right now. We are helping more people aside from, and I don't know what the government helping, but I'm saying that, and I can't know, so I can't say if we're bigger than the government, but I'm saying that the amount of help that people get from the combined membership of the Candlelight Movement is massive compared to anything else.
But you see, there are those who will not see that. At the end of the day, there are those whose agenda, like I tell you, it's normally a situation where people have their personal agendas and everything else just falls flat. And that is the problem. I don't know when we will grow up in this country as a whole. Right now, as we speak, someone is breathing their last breath in a hospital right now.
Alone.
Alone. And I wonder if these politicians, and the other day I said it, I wonder if these politicians just think about Franklin Khan, where he is right now. That was a man who was walking, talking, moving, laughing, and look at where he is now. You understand? And that will be the position of myself, yourself,
everybody.
And every politician.
Everybody.
I don't know.
No, but no, you say something just now, and somebody who was almost like a father to me, he passed away last year in the hospital. He had to go to the general hospital. And as you say, this is somebody who would have been surrounded by friends and family, and he died early in the morning by himself in general hospital. I don't think he ever thought that that could have been how the end of his road would have looked. And are we just beyond the self-awareness to realize that what happens to everybody, as you mentioned Franklin Khan, but anybody, right? So are we just beyond understanding how easily, how fragile we are, and how easily, like I have a partner, Marlon, this guy, he was training in the gym, he was exercising for Carnival 2020, and get a chest pain, went to the hospital and died. And it's as simple as that. A healthy man, a young man, young enough, he should not be dying from that. And as you say, it's like these people not aware how easily this thing ends.
Yeah, but again, where do we go from here? Because for me, it is frustrating, and I hear my daughter and I'm talking, and it pains me that I have invested for my children to remain in Trinidad, to live in Trinidad. And because I always like the idea that families remain together, we cook together, we grow up, the grandchildren grow up together. I like that type of thing.
Absolutely.
But when you have a country that is falling apart, how can you convince your own children to stay here? How can you convince them to be part of this, to help build what? Because it's being destroyed, not block by block, it's being destroyed wall by wall.
So true.
And the fact is that, just the mere fact that a politician could go in the middle of a pandemic, buy a brand new car to whine on everybody. I mean, it shows you that these people have no compassion. It is almost like if you're in the middle of a flood and the politician take out a picture with he swimming in the pool just to taunt you. And that is what we are seeing. We are seeing people who are heartless, people who have no emotion, people who only shed a tear for the wrong reason. And like I say, I wake up sometimes and I am so frustrated by this whole thing. Not because I allow it to get to me, but my concern is when that rain was falling, my wife looked at me, she says something, but I say, could you imagine the families right now, that water falling through their roofs and on their beds right now, what are they doing? We don't think about those things, right? We don't think about the families right now who have to just eat sugar and rice or condensed milk and rice if they could afford it. We don't think about it. We don't think about the story in the Guardian today where a father had to take his 5 children from school because he couldn't afford to keep them going to school. I mean, it doesn't bother us. I mean, people have access to the treasury where you could change the lives of people. I don't know if you've ever visited Dubai. Philip, have you ever?
No, I've not been there, but I've heard enough stories from people, boy.
I went there 3 times, and let me tell you something. When you go there, the hotel I was in, Movenpick, and when I was up there with my family, and when I look to the left, I am seeing barren desert, and when I look to the right, you have a city green and prospering. And when you have a desert that could be turned into an oasis, and not only that, when I talk to people, when was the last time they had a problem for water? Boy, we never had imagine in the desert, they're telling you they never had a problem for water. Wow. They have no electricity problems. That is because you have leaders who are thinkers and who care about their people. In Trinidad and Tobago, unfortunately, we are divided by race. We are divided by culture. We are divided by everything that we could be divided by. But we cannot stand together. Look, for example, the other day I went to one grocery and I see cereal for $39.95. The same cereal by the next supermarket for $32.95. You telling me on a box of cereal you're looking to make nearly $10, boy?
And you see, in China, I want to tell you this, huh? You said something that will stay in my mind forever. When you coined that phrase, the Andrea effect, I want to tell you, you asked where we go from here. And I want to say, watching those thousands of people who found that petition and distributed petitions and signed so many stories, that young lady who walked around and she personally got about 10,000 signatures. Your ex-minister, Sadiba's brother Nizam, he went and get 5,000 signatures by himself. And to watch all the people on those nights, all the different races, classes, cultures, because the things you say that divide us, when you coined that term, the Andrea effect, brother, we had a moment where I have never felt that much camaraderie and unity before, and I've been outside there a long time. It's like people was just willing. If we had tell people we're staying outside, we ain't going home, we'd have reached 100,000 people in the street. People was just willing. I think they had reached the end of their rope, and something about that girl, something about Andrea made it possible for all of us to see past ourselves and to see the big picture. And I think that that was so inspiring, and I think that we can't lose that. That's what people are looking to see. What happens next where that is concerned? What are your views on that?
Well, I'll tell you something. Andrea's father contacted me last week, and again this morning he sent me a message, and he and I communicate regularly. And you know, he asked me something, and I told him I am sorry, but I cannot comply. He asked me to tell him what I saw for the autopsy. Could you imagine me having to explain that to a father? And in all honesty, Philip, I decided that I am not going to do it. I told him, as much as he may be displeased, I cannot, because he doesn't have the image that I have in my head. He does not have the videos, the graphic images, and I'm not going into description. But the fact is that I am not going to...
No, I can imagine what you saw. I spoke to some of the people from the search and rescue team, and they told me it was I don't want to use descriptive adjectives because, again, I want to be conscious of all the people who seem to have adopted this girl as a part of their family, and I don't want to, and especially Randolph, he might be on the live video because he's been on the lives regular, and the fact that he would call you and ask you this, because I don't understand the strength that that man have. To be honest, I don't understand how he stood and took this as stoically as he did.
No, it takes a lot. What happens that you see, we don't know what he goes through at night. We don't know. But the fact is that there are so many parents. So for example, recently that young man who was brutally strangled to death. And then you have so many women who go missing. The fact is that, you know, it is not easy for anybody to raise a child. And the thing is that you could have a criminal as a son. That is still your son. That is a good boy. And the fact is that for us, for people like myself, I have 2 daughters, and to grow them up and then hear these things, it creates.
It's insane. You were at the Arima meeting?
If I was no, I couldn't make it in.
Inshan, we met a dad that night. I don't know if you saw the video where he went up on the stage because we had we weren't allowed to have people there, but he still came. And his daughter, that was the girl who was shot in her car. And the car crashed and he trying to flag down other cars to get to the hospital and people stopping him saying they can't take her because they want blood in the car and that kind of. I mean, when that man finished telling our story, boy, I say, well, that's it, you know. I can't take another one of these stories, you know. And you're right, they have so many people tonight. This country, they talk about 500 murders a year. For the past 20 years, that's 10,000 people. All those 10,000 people, if they only knew 2 other people, that's 20,000 people. That's ripples of pain and hurt in this country. Where are we going?
And that is exactly my point. And this is why, even with people like yourself and myself, who apparently seem like we could take the world on our shoulders. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes, you know, just to be able to sleep, toss and turn, and you know, and you wonder. I look at the politicians that we have, and I wonder what did we really do to deserve to be in this position? What did we do? What did the people of this country do to be in this position where you have a prime minister? I mean, imagine I as a citizen of Trinidad, you telling me I can't come. It's Trinidad and Tobago. You telling me I can't come through Tobago airport. I have to come through Trinidad now. Are you discriminating against people who are vaccinated against the unvaccinated? Philip, you of all persons know that people who are vaccinated are passing away like when you as well.
John, they don't know what they're doing with this thing. They don't know what they're doing. My brother had to come and tell them, listen, if you don't know, when you get that vaccination, it suppresses your immune system and makes you susceptible to COVID-19. And nobody told us that. So there are people going outside there, getting their vaccination and then jumping in a taxi and heading back home like it's normal and putting themselves at a risk that they weren't at before. I don't even want to... I mean, it's like every day and every night we're talking about these things, and brother, yeah, tiring. It's really exhausting to be having these conversations. I mean, I don't know if you see, people send me pictures and I have to go and see for myself. There are 5 water taxis parked up next to Anchorage, just rotting in the water.
Yeah, of course. You see, again, that does not come out of their salary. And they don't care, and this is why I've studied time. And Philip, we have $25 million in police cars, the $50 million rotten right now because of red tape. The commissioner does not have to ask the government for any money to purchase vehicles. All they have to do, process those vehicles and then put it up for auction and don't use the money to purchase new vehicles where necessary. And you just recycle accordingly. It should not be a repetitive case of hundreds of millions of dollars every few years. But the fact is that the red tape is there again. So all I could say, because my wife is giving me this look now.
I know. I keep you back so long, and I know I've kept you here long. No. Apologize to her for me, and I really appreciate, brother, I really appreciate you taking the time on your Sunday to come and talk to us. Give me a...
There's Philip, what we do, it is not about fame. I've always told people, I own a TV station. I was the youngest media house owner in the Western Hemisphere. I could be on 7 days a week on television. I have to drag myself one day to go on air for 1 hour, and I just cringe to go extra half an hour. The only thing is that for me, this is not about stardom, it is not about fame. What this is about is paving the way so that my children could have a better Trinidad and Tobago. When I see that we have an oncology center right now that is not being built, which could help children and adults who have cancer, but we have other priorities, it pains me because we realize that, the wrong people are where they are. And I have always said, and I must say my wife is my strength because this woman has been a pillar at my side, supporting what I do, and may God continue to bless her. And to all those people who are listening right now, all I could tell you, be safe, just be careful outside there. And to all the children who are outside there frustrating their mummies and daddies, especially as it's holidays now, oh God, give me a break, please. All right?
Brother, thanks a lot.
Family, take care, my friend.
Same to you.
All the best. Take care. Bye-bye.
And that, brothers and sisters, tonight, because, and I want to say again, thanks to Inshan for taking the time to come and talk to us, Stefan, last night. And I know that people like to hear other voices. It gives them the idea it's not just one or two of us. That is actually, there is hope that there are a lot of good people outside there who would stand up and fight. It takes a lot to put aside your family life and your family time, to put aside even your Sunday or your leisure time. I went out and do 2 videos today, one up in the east, one all the way in Chagaramas, and I had to do them because every single parent hearing my voice, the country that we leave for the children is determined by the actions that we take every day. And there are a lot of people who just trying to hold their shrinking corner, and they're not seeing that it's shrinking, and they're not understanding that the fact that they are holding their corner without looking to see what other people might be going through and how they could assist is why their corner shrinking. And Trinidad and Tobago, easily the wealthiest country in the world, per capita, easily. That's what it should be. But we have a people who have been so set against each other racially that it is a Herculean task. And then Andrea dies. And then Andrea dies and she gives us an opportunity to be our best selves. And we become our best selves. And we come out. And we come out every night. And we form a movement. And we get 128,500 signatures. And we have a nation of people that want better. And then they rowley the scene, spike the COVID. A pharmacist and 4 junior doctors running the country's pandemic response. So we don't know what's going on, where our country and COVID-19 is concerned. Everything the Prime Minister says sounds like foolishness. Everything those political appointees say at those press conferences sound like foolishness. And Urvashi Tiwari Rupnarayan, TV6 journalist, was suspended for a question. And today I got the transcript of the 2 minutes that this girl spoke. And we've not gotten an answer. I want you to listen to why she was suspended. This is what we need every journalist. If this was a real country, every journalist would be asking these questions at the press conference until they stop having press conferences or they stop having media or until they answer. Good morning. Urvashi from TV6. Dr. Hines, we would have asked you, I don't think it was last week, I think it was the week before, why more people are dying. You would have gone through some pains to explain to us that it wasn't that more people are dying. It's just that because there are more infections, that there will be more serious cases resulting in more deaths. Now, subsequent to that, we saw that PAHO just last week said that Trinidad and Tobago is among countries in the region where deaths would have doubled in the last week, and assuming last week, weekend, maybe before. And as you know, no. Are you now in a position to tell us why more people are dying? And if not, can you then look at if it is poorer people or people in the lower income bracket are dying? Because when we look at it, of people of certain occupations that are dying, because we are seeing, for instance, Tech, police officers, supermarket workers, hospital staff, they are working in enclosed environments. We don't know if they could afford, or some would be able to afford, those at-home oxygen tanks or this new drug that people are now hoarding. So they have to rely on healthcare, on a healthcare system, and they are just not getting through. They think that this is where the infections are taking place, and maybe they're taking it to their 1-2 bedroom apartment or house that they may have 5-6 other family members are infecting them as well. If it is poorer people are dying, can you tell us who is dying, and can you tell us why? And secondly, can you tell us what the vaccine policy is of the government? In phase 1, we were told it was above 60, those elderly persons with NCDs, and now we are seeing, when you go to the ministry's website, it's over 60, and then you're seeing under 60 with NCDs. But online, we're seeing all sorts of people getting vaccines. Persons who've reached out to us from the public would have said that those are young, healthy persons. Some are connected, some are wealthy. Can you tell us, what is the vaccine policy? And these two questions that lasted 2 minutes, 17 seconds out of an hour-long press conference have never been answered. And I'm calling on the media, publish those questions. I'm calling on journalists, press those questions, each and every one of you, until we have answers. Because the government is running the country as if they do not have to account, and that is untrue. And while we may not have actual systems in place to hold them to account, the spirit of governance in a democracy demands that they know that they should. There is a spirit of justice. There is a spirit of service. There is a spirit of understanding in each role that you have in society, that you have an obligation above and beyond because of the circumstances and the role that you're in. And the Prime Minister and the Chief Justice and Director of Public Prosecutions and people like them have a special responsibility to everybody else. Their office dictates that, not the person that they are, the office that they hold. And if they are not the right type of human to occupy those offices, then they need to step down and step aside so that the right type of human with love for other humans could occupy those offices and make the changes that we need. As of today, there are too many people in this country hungry, starving, frightened, anxious, looking at a press conference, playing a game like Mammy May I, waiting to see what the Prime Minister pulling out of his pants pocket today. That's not how you're going to run a country. And you're saying that it's because of the pandemic that we have suffered the loss of our civil liberties and our human rights. And you're saying that it's because of the pandemic, but you're not getting on top of the pandemic. So it's a catch-22 for us. The pandemic giving you extra power, and your failure to use that power to bring the pandemic under control is keeping us under your thumb. And that is not how a democracy was set up, and that is not what it means. This is a country ruled by law. Our laws not making sense. The people of Trinidad and Tobago are being left exposed and are being taken advantage of. And it is time that we, the people, come together in our minds first, in our hearts first, put country first, and say that what I want from my political expression is a country that works well for everybody's children. Because if the country works well for everybody's children, it'll work well for mine. I want to know that you have water in your pipe, so I could have water in my pipe. I want to know that the education system and the schools and the teachers create an environment of learning and camaraderie and a system and a place where learning is what people are there to do, and not fight and bacchanal. Because when your children are out of your sight, you don't know what's going on. You don't know what could take place. And what we take in as unlikely accidents are totally preventable and forced errors. The country, the government knows. We've called for 5 things. We've called for regulation of the PH taxis, fast-tracking FULs for women, the license plates, do a better job at issuing license plates, the pepper spray, and a commission of inquiry into the criminal justice system that seems to have a lot of questions to answer. The government gave us pepper spray, and it took them a year to do that. Why? Why would it take so long? You've been doing this for 14 years, this pepper spray, I've been told. Why would it take so long? The RF number plates are in trade 20 years now. It is why under Manning it hand over to UNC, why they build a Caroni licensing office. How come it's still not done yet? How come we've not yet regulated the PH taxis when the regular taxi association and the PH taxi association willing to work together on it? How come? How come you cannot put a proper system in place for the issuing of firearm users license, especially for women? How come? And then there are bigger questions and bigger picture questions, like how come we cannot manage the social fabric of this country so that people don't have to prey on each other? How come? How come we can't secure this nation's borders? How come we can't stop the flow of drugs that corrupting our country and killing our young people? How come we can't stop the flow of guns? How come we can't do a proper enforcement of law in this country because the borders are wide open and criminals are coming and going as they please? How come? How come the government doesn't understand that the first job is the creation of jobs? How come? Because people with a job are less likely to abandon their job to engage in crime. How come the government doesn't know that? How come it is not possible for the average person who have a job to own a home? How come? How come the banks are being allowed to run wild in Trinidad and Tobago and do whatever they please instead of working within our existing economy to provide opportunities for the development of our people? How come? How come these basic things are not being addressed in the parliament, but we're getting a lot of bullshit, bacchanal, and noise? How come? And how come we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, don't have enough sense to understand that the parliament and those within it that represent those 2 failed political ideologies, the casual criminality of the PNM and the UNC, beholding to financial investors and political speculators, that leaves the rest of the 1.4 million of us without representation? How come we can't get that yet? How come? Think about that. Until tomorrow.